Hi everyone, welcome back. I am doing this video a smidge late, but I wanted to chat to y'all about my March / quarter one wrap up in my planners. It is a beautiful day here in April. It is 10:20 a.m. on April 14th. So if you haven't done your taxes and you're in the United States, this is your friendly PSA to do that shit. I did mine just this last week. I'm a little bit of a late bird, but better later than actually late. So all of that aside, I hope you all are having a lovely Sunday morning. You'll have to excuse my voice. I went to a birthday party yesterday afternoon for one of my friends, and it was so much fun. It was a gorgeous day. We hung out outside. We played a really cool board game called Betrayal, and it was a load of fun. The game, it's a cooperative board game until it's not. So everyone's kind of exploring this like decrepit, kind of creepy mansion together, and certain events happen. You can collect certain items, and then omens will also occur. And the more omen cards that are out on the table, the greater the odds that the betrayal will start and the cooperative portion of the game will end. So once the betrayal kicks off, then everyone is kind of working together against the betrayer, and the betrayer is working to kill all of the heroes of the game. So it's a load of fun, and it's not one of those games that's too complicated. It's not complicated by nature. The one thing that does make it a little more complicated and sometimes hard to follow is there are, as you go and you draw, as everyone takes their turns and draws their item, event, or omen cards, there will be certain rules attached to that card. And so just the further you get into the game, the more rules that are set in place, and therefore, you know, it becomes a little harder to remember. People are frequently referencing the rule book or the card in their hand that explains whatever rule in question. But it's loads of fun. So my friend's birthday party was a blast. And then we had a few friends over. My husband made lasagna last night, and it's one of my friend's favorites. She loves Italian food. So we made lasagna, and I stayed up too late, which is like 10 p.m. So I know that makes me sound old. And I am not old, but I am approaching the life stage adjacent to old, if that makes sense. So I was up past my bedtime last night, but I was really proud of myself. I did all of the cleanup and everything afterwards last night so that I wouldn't have to deal with it today, which frees me up to hang out with y'all. But that being said, after such a fun day yesterday, my voice is a little hoarse, and I think it's just a combination of talking to friends all afternoon and evening, and also seasonal allergies. So here we are. Please excuse my voice, but like, maybe it makes me sound a little bit cool. Like, I always like kind of a gravelier voice in women. I don't know why, I just think it sounds nice. So in my mind, I sound like just a little bit sexier. But totally an aside, we are here today to chat about quarter one and March, and I'm going to kind of lump them together. Some things will be specific to March, some things will just be an overall quarter one kind of wrap up, but we will kind of, you know, take it as it comes. Excuse me, there is a cat hair in my coffee, because of course. And I might be taking more frequent breaks to take a sip of my coffee because my voice is a little hoarse, and talking for a YouTube video after I was talking all day yesterday is maybe not the wisest choice, but we're going for it. So that being said, grab a snack, grab a beverage, grab your planner or notebook if you want to kind of play along. I know I love putting planner videos on in the background when I'm playing in my planners, and I hope some of y'all are doing the same. You'll also have to excuse the lighting and the shadows. It's a beautiful sunny day and my desk here faces the window. I don't think you can see any, nope, out of frame, but I am right in front of the window. So maybe it creates some visual interest. Maybe it's terrible lighting. I honestly don't know. I probably should do some research about lighting in YouTube videos because I am not knowledgeable about that at all. So we're gonna just pull all of these out here and we will talk about my little one first. It's hard, maybe it's easier to see in the bright, oh yeah, I think you can see it. I do have my ring light on just to try and even out the lighting a bit. Sorry, you're also getting like the glare from the sun. I don't mean to blind anyone, I'm so sorry. But you can see this like really deep forest green color. It's really beautiful, really lush. I am probably almost certainly going to be purchasing Sterling ink planners again for next year. I really love these books. I don't know if I'll be purchasing this green again. It's beautiful. It's kind of rich and luscious, but it almost reminds me of like a Bible or a hymnal book, and I don't necessarily like that association. So I probably will not be purchasing this color again just because it's linked to something else in my mind, and I would rather it not. So this is my memory keeper. So I'm just writing a few lines a day. And I'm alternating the pen colors so that it's easier visually to distinguish between the different colors, or between the different days. So I have actually kept this up every single day so far this year. I have not done anything in the front. I also have not done anything with these spare pages or spare lines. I figure I'll use that if I have a day that I need to write more about. I would just, you know, if I was writing in gray ink here and had a lot to say on the 14th, I could just continue the gray ink here so that hopefully it connects in my mind. Hopefully there's not two gray lines or days on this page, but I'll cross that bridge if I get to it. And so far I have kept it up for the month of April. This is something I definitely plan on continuing. I like the practice of just writing a few lines a day. And if I can keep this up and am still enjoying it by the end of the year, I'm considering buying the Hobonichi 5-year journal, or maybe Sterling Ink, would, if you're listening, which you're certainly not, if Catherine from Sterling Ink would put out a 5-year Sterling Ink diary. I don't think there's one yet, but I don't keep up on every single new release. So if that's an option, I would really love it to try it, especially because it's going to be a nice even number, 2025 to 2030 or 2029. But yeah, I will be considering doing a 5-year journal if I end up liking this practice throughout the entire year. Moving on from that one, this, my least used planner in one of my least favorite colors. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. It's not quite hot anymore, but it is still warm. I bought this one last year in probably, I can't remember what month Catherine released the like imperfection planners, but this one was one of the imperfect ones that she had released at a discount. I bought this one, and I don't remember which other one, but I think I bought 2 imperfect ones. It might have been my other, I'm looking at the N2B, sorry, the weeks size. It's just the weeks size in my brain. But I might have gotten these 2 from the imperfect run, but I can't remember. This one definitely, because I would never choose pink on my own accord, but they were selling out quickly, and I wanted this size, and I wanted the full year instead of the compact. Or no, this is the compact, I'm sorry. I wanted the compact instead of the mega or more pages. So I have this as my social media planner, and you know, I'm not big on social media. I haven't made it. I have like not even 200 subscribers at the time of this filming, and that's fine. I'm not upset about that. I know YouTube takes time to grow, and oh, don't look at that, video ideas. But I'm not anywhere near the point of needing a whole planner for my social media. I think I could put this into my everyday carry daily driver planner, and it would be just fine. I could even incorporate it into my writing planner, but I do kind of want to leave my writing planner just for writing, but I don't need a whole planner for for my social media. So as you can see, I have filled it out, but I'm definitely not using it to its full potential. And I'm not really trying to think of more ways to use it. I'm just kind of like, whatever, I spent the money on it, I might as well use it for something. But yeah, I haven't used any of I started out with the intention at the beginning of the year to keep track of my YouTube stats here, and I'm just not finding that that's really a motivator for me right now. I'm not motivated to keep track of my stats. I'm not motivated to like really keep track of those metrics right now. So this planner is, I will say it's being used, but it is definitely my least touched planner so far this year. Moving right along, and another sip of coffee. Okay, this is my writing planner that I was just mentioning. First, my writing planner, and this is my just kind of blank grid notebook for whatever I need it to be. Brain dump, notes, shopping lists. If I'm chatting to a representative on the phone about my water bill and I need to write down some notes, I throw it in here. So this is truly just the whatever notebook. However, this last week, I had taken my writing notebook and my whatever notebook, or writing planner, and whatever notebook to work with me. And at the end of the day, instead of putting them in my purse, I put them in my lunch bag to take home. And I also had my coffee, my travel coffee mug in my lunch bag too. Didn't think about it. It was empty. I drank all my coffee. But it's not actually empty. Like, yes, I drank all of the sips of coffee, but like there's still residual drips at the bottom. And I got home, and I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this, but there are definitely coffee stains. You can see it all on the spine. The bottom spine is almost, or the bottom pages are completely covered. This is about half covered. the inside, my spine is starting to rip here. There's quite a bit of damage. I was smelling it to see if it still smelled like coffee. It does not. These back couple pages are just stuck together. So it has character now. This one took the brunt of the damage compared to my writing notebook. My writing notebook does have some discoloration, but the pages are largely spared, thankfully. It's just little bits here that you can see. So nothing exciting going on in here. I'm gonna skip this because it's either extremely boring like grocery lists or more sensitive information that I'm obviously not going to show you. So we're skipping my brain dump notebook, but back to my now characterized writing planner. I have been using this. I still have quite a few post-its in the front here for ideas for pages in the notes section that I want to complete. But I haven't set my goal breakdown, and I suppose I could transfer some of this, but I participate. I'm a student in Sarah Cannon's, from the Heart Breathings channel on YouTube, her HB90 method program. So it's a paid course where every quarter you kind of replan and reassess your visions, your goals, the time you have, and you kind of create a plan for the next 90 days based on where you're at, where you want to be, all of that good stuff. So I could transfer some of that stuff into here. And I have done it more so on the monthly and weekly pages in here, but I have not done this goal breakdown, and I honestly don't know that I need to. I might just leave this blank all year, and that would be fine. So Q1, I do have mostly filled out. I did work on writing stuff here more than I've tracked. I think I have that recorded in my everyday daily driver planner, so it's just a matter of going back and transferring notes. Rule number 1 is if you're going to plan out your entire Q1 in January, 1, either do it in pencil so you can erase it and move things around as you need to, or 2, just don't, because life happens and things change. So I have lots of correction tape here. And, oh, what did you look at? Well, I didn't do it in February. Okay, never mind. We're caught up. We're correct here. So January, I was drafting, so I would just keep track of my word count here. The D stands for draft. February, I wanted to do some document formatting, printing, backing up of files, more of that kind of logistical stuff. Didn't really do anything at all. So I kind of like opened my documents and was like, nah, I'm not feeling this. And I just didn't. And that's fine. That's fine. I had just come off of NaNoWriMo in November, a busy December, a busy January, finishing my draft in January. And so I just said, I am taking the month of February and just resting. So I'm not mad about that at all. March, I did go ahead and get my documents in order. I got them backed up. I got them saved. I printed my draft. I had it spiral bound. So, and then I also chose which project I was going to work on for publication this year. It was really between 2 novels that I have been working on in the past, not as of recently, but I did choose one and I started replotting it, and I've been doing more of that this month in April. So I only put my quarterly goals as far as this month, and I will, in my head, I know what they are, but I'm not going to put pen to paper until I see how the quarter is shaking out and what seems achievable. I have been plotting this month. I have not noted it. Again, it's just a matter of tracking from this, or transferring the info from this planner to this planner. So I will do that later. Obviously, we don't have anything for the rest of the year yet, but I have been working. I've just been putting washi tape over the days that are not in that month, just to kind of visually block them out. As you can see, I did not transfer my quarterly goals or my monthly goals for March into the March calendar page like I did for January and, well, not even January. Oh, it's up here. Like I did for January and February, but that's okay. I find that I use the monthly pages the least out of all of the pages in my planners. What I really tend to gravitate to and use the most are my weekly pages, which will be even more evident when we get to this bad boy next. So I do have, if you're wondering what these are, ooh, I need to add, and as you can see, I'm not being careful or precious about what color pens I use in here. This is not, none of my planners are really pretty by conventional standards. You'll see all these beautiful spreads and pages with wonderful handwriting. And this planner is really just for me and my writing. So I'm really not trying to make it pretty. I'm not trying to have even consistent colors. I'm not color coding anything. I guess I sort of did with the HB Double Down Day, which that stands for Heart Breathings. Again, Sarah Cannon's writing community. The first Saturday of every month, her moderators, kind of community leaders, host virtual writing sprints on YouTube all day long. So it's really nice to participate in and work alongside some internet friends. And actually, not this weekend, but next weekend is the Heart Breathings virtual retreat. I want to say every quarter. I'm not exactly sure. You can find more info on Sarah's website, which I think is just heartbreathings.com. But I want to say every quarter, she hosts, well, her and her community. I totally spelled that wrong. They host virtual sprints all weekend. And those are really fun to participate in because you can just really double down and get some work done. So if that's something you're interested in, please, like I said, visit Sarah's website, heartbreathings.com, I believe, and you can get all the info. And it's a lot of fun, even if you're not a writer, even if you just want to like do some chores or read your book. It's a great place to just hang out. So anyway, moving on. I did probably keep up better in the weeklies than anywhere else in this planner. February is largely blank because I, like I said, took a rest. And then March, more work. And again, this planner is not even super used. Realistically, there's no reason I couldn't put it into my everyday daily driver, but I do want to have a specific, separate, designated writing planner. So I have not really kept up with it this month so far for April. I do need to go ahead and backfill some of these because I know I was working on it last weekend and even a little bit this week, but again, that info's in here, and I'll just transfer it. So I am liking this. I don't know that I necessarily like this week's size for it. I like the horizontal layout better than the vertical. I almost feel like this is too much room, but I don't think I want to go any smaller. I don't know. I'd have to do some thinking about that. But moving back to my notes section, what we have for quarter 1 is my general steps, and in an ideal world, I suppose, how long each of those steps would take me for writing a novel. Next, I have my works in progress, and kind of what stage they're at. So my project that I am deciding to pursue publishing on is this one here, my 2021 project. It is not drafted, and I think I mentioned this in my last video. I am doing a major overhaul on the plot because the person who was the main character, I realized, is not supposed to be the main character, and the person who is kind of like the second main character is now the main character. So essentially those two characters have just swapped importance. They are still both the most two important characters, but my priorities for these characters has shifted. So as much as I have drafted for this already, I'm going to need to do some major surgery and kind of see what I can kind of pull out and still use, how much of it needs to be completely rewritten, and then how much of it needs to kind of have surgery and just shifting the POV. So that being said, moving along here. This is not finished. I have one kind of card pull left. But at the beginning of the year, I pulled 10 tarot cards for myself. I do not have a tarot deck. I'm not even interested in tarot. Not because I have anything against it. I think it's cool. It's just not something that I've ever put any time or energy into because I've just not cared enough to be quite honest. But tarot is definitely having a trendy moment. It seems like a lot of folks are into it, and I thought, after consuming a number of YouTube videos around planners and notebooks and people talking about their tarot journals and all of that, I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun to pull some tarot cards for my writing year this year. So I went ahead and just went on a website. I honestly can't remember which one, like tarot.com probably, if that's a thing, and just pulled 10 virtual cards for myself. And so I've said the question that I'm asking. So number 1 is current influence. Where are you right now? And then the card I pulled, the meaning and my interpretation. So I've pulled 10 cards, and I have those notes written out sloppy style in my notebook here. So now I just have this last one to transfer over, and then I can start in the notes section. Let me put my paper clip back so I don't lose my spot. Then I can start with these other things that I want to get to, probably specifically the April camp, because we're in April camp right now. But yeah, that is everything for my writing journal, planner, notebook, whatnot. We'll move to this one next. I'm gonna pause and get a sip of my coffee. Okay, this is my reading journal for the year. And I have, for the most part, kept up with it. I'm pretty happy, actually. So here I have book bingo, And I have my 2024 reading goals. For the book bingo, if I've done it, I'm just putting a little sticker in that box. I'm not taking either of these super seriously. I am taking this one more seriously, but again, it's not, I'm not holding myself too accountable. Like, I'm gonna read what I want to read. And if I don't want to read 3 nonfiction books this year, I'm not going to. It's just a guideline for if I'm in a slump and I'm looking for something to read, I can kind of come to this spread and think about some options. So, moving along. This is a little easier for me to plan out by the quarter because it's not as serious of a goal, and it's easier to set this goal out ahead of time than it is some other personal goals like writing or health and fitness, anything like that. So I actually did pretty well. The only thing out of my quarter 1 priorities that I had set out to do that I didn't do was I did not read a nonfiction book, and I did not read 6 books. I believe I read 5. So I started a series, I wrote a review, and I read in a genre that I normally wouldn't, which was Westerns. And then I just, over here, kind of as an aside, I made a note of the genres that I did read this quarter. So I read mystery, thriller, literary, historical, classics, LGBTQIA+, YA, and contemporary. I don't know if you can hear it, but my cat Ellery just started purring, which is really sweet. So in January, I just divvied out these goals and kind of divvied them out monthly. So I have my goals and then my actual, and I like this format. And over here, I kept track of the pages I read every day. A line through it means I did not read. And as you can see, the number of days I have not read increases as we go through the months, but it is what it is. And then up here, I was keeping track of what books I was reading that month, and also down here because I didn't have enough space up top. So then here I have the number of books read that month and the number of pages. And I finished, Everyone Here Is Lying literally on April 1st, I believe. So I just barely couldn't count it for quarter 1, but it is what it is. I was reading in bed and I was looking at the time. It was like a Saturday night, I believe, or a Sunday night. And it was like 10:30 and I was like, I need to go to bed. I have to work in the morning. And as much as I want to stay up and read these last like 40 pages or 50 pages, whatever it was, I just need to go to sleep. So I have not fully filled this out for this quarter. As you can see, you guys are getting the real deal here. But I will kind of continue to divvy these out and maybe think of 1 or 2 more goals this month or this quarter. And we will move to the monthly pages. Obviously have not filled out quarters 3 or 4 yet. I did nothing with December because that was last year. And January here, I have the title of the book, and I'm not sure if you can see it, it's pretty faint, but I have a line here of just how many days I've been reading that book, which was all month. I have my library books due if I renewed them, and then some January stats. So the number of books read, pages read, number of library visits, genres, moods, favorite book read, which, you know, there will only be one if there was only one book read that month, the year published. And then I just made a note to myself here saying that the stats for this book, Lonesome Dove, that I was reading, will appear again in the February stats because I didn't finish it in January. So just a note to self. Again, in February, same thing. The title of the book I was reading with the line through it. Oh, Oh, I like that better. That makes it easier to see. Okay. I'll do this real quick. Sorry, these lines are not straight. So if you're expecting perfection, you got to go to a different channel. Okay, lovely. Okie doke. So, again, the book I'm reading, here I switched books. I don't know why that's in a different color, but it is. Library trips and what I checked out or returned. And then March, I want to say I had one more library trip in there. I want to say I went this week because I had to, oh no, there it is. Okay, so that is all of my library trips, but I did not fill out my stats for February or March. Those are pretty easy for me to backfill. I go ahead and just use the story graph and just pull data from that. And sorry, my dogs are gonna lose it. There's someone outside, not at our house, but just outside. Anyway, oh, I'm so sorry. So I'll go ahead and backfill these pages, easy peasy. April I have not filled out yet, but you know, later. Then we move into the weeklies. Start at the beginning here. I'm so sorry. Someone's having car trouble outside our house, it looks like, and the dogs are just gonna lose it. Oh, someone's coming to help them. I might have to pause. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. I am back, and I've put my sunglasses on because after staring at the white paper from direct sunlight for however many minutes, really hurt. So I have my sunglasses on, and this is much better. So back to it. I've started journaling just kind of a little bit about when I was reading. I've started journaling a bit about what I was reading and where I was reading. Here, I was hungover from a New Year's party. Here, I just talked about how I read before bed, and then I kept track of how many pages I've read and what book I'm reading. And I do really well. And I also have some markers here for when books are due. I do really well for all of February into March. And then about halfway through March, I stopped. And then I kind of picked it up a little bit. It's a little more sporadic here, which is fine. Like, I don't need to know that I did some reading at work this morning. Like, it's kind of cool, but I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not super invested in specifically knowing that. So, well, and this, I haven't filled out how many pages I've read yet for this week, but I do have all of this info digitally on the Storygraphs website, so that's super easy to just go and transfer later. All right, moving into my notes section here. I have my table of contents here, and I left some extra room in case I need it. I have the annual stats, which I will fill out at the end of the year, obviously. And then, isn't this cute? I have my 2024 bookshelf. I think I should have spaced these a little differently, because if I just scooched these over like one, I could fit another book in here and have them 3 to a row instead of 2. So I will probably try that on this page. I have not finished this yet, but I did go ahead and paste it in just so that it's already in there because I'm gonna finish it. But I think this looks super fun. And another page for my bookshelf. And then I am doing a battle of the books. So Lonesome Dove one for January and February. March, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo one. And now I am trying to decide between these two titles to move to the quarterly bracket for favorite book of the quarter. But I will fill that out when I decide. Next, I have a DNF list, which I have finished every book I've started so far. And then I have my TBR. Yes, the whole damn thing. I wrote down, I mean, that sounds nice, right? Is that some ASMR? I wrote down my whole TBR, and I've been adding things this year to it. Favorite quotes. I have had quotes that I've loved, but I've not been either moved enough to write them down or have forgotten to write them down. So for now, this is blank. I have some book recommendations, which I have added to my TBR list. And then because I am not tech savvy, I had to write down the instructions on how to print these little book covers. So I have my instructions here. If you want to pause and screenshot that, you can. If you're also curious, I got this from, I'm not sure, another YouTube channel, but I cannot remember who told me how to do this. But here's my instructions for printing my book covers. And then I have my book reviews and notes and thoughts about each book I've read. So I have the title, author, genre, number of pages, publisher, and the year published. And then I, again, have put my star rating along with the cover of the book, and then any notes. Like this, I read the 2010 25th anniversary edition. Here I said this review is copied from my Storygraph review. So yeah, I read the large print edition because this book is not actually 559 pages, but it is 559 pages if you're reading the large print, which was the first one available from my library. The queue for the smaller sized print was a lot longer than the queue for the large print. So I would feel bad if I had this book out for weeks because people who need large print were, waiting for it, but I did not have this out for long. I read it really quick, so I don't feel too bad about that. And then I have finished Everyone Here Is Lying, but I still need to record my thoughts. And then back here, I have the cover for my review of when I finish Streets of Laredo. And then I also went ahead and printed early the next book in my TBR, which is The Stolen Coast by Dwyer Murphy. And I don't DNF a book very often, so I went ahead and printed them because I feel confident that I will finish that book. So that is everything for my reading journal. I actually am enjoying keeping a reading journal a lot more than I anticipated I would. So at first I was nervous to purchase a whole nother planner just for my reading journal because I've never kept a reading journal before, and I wasn't sure how motivated I would be to keep up with this. And who knows, the year is young, I might abandon it yet, but for now I'm actually really enjoying it. So that is my reading journal. And lastly, we have my big kahuna. This is my daily driver, my everyday carry planner. Here I just have the grid spacing at the front. And then these are paydays, holidays, PTO that I'm taking marked off. I don't have a cover page. I don't know if I'm motivated to do a cover page. And then I have some goal breakdown things here. And I have my Q1 priorities, again, just kind of broken up into monthly goals. And then my habit trackers on this side and my Poshmark statistics here. I have been a seller on Poshmark I've been on Poshmark for 9 years, and I've been a seller on Poshmark for probably 8. So I do like to keep track of my Poshmark stats. And again, I need to catch up from the last couple days in my habit tracker, but that's pretty easy to do. I'm not worried about that. My monthlies, I have filled out some, but again, I don't look at my monthlies very often. So I'm not like super invested in them at all. I actually probably back plan my monthlies only, and I forward plan in my weeklies. So Q1 I have filled out. I have my stickers just because I have them, and I'm trying to use what I own, but I'm not making a super huge effort to, and you can see some weeks are busier than others, but I'm not making a big effort to like make these cute or, you know, do all of that stuff. But I have a massage coming up. I'm very excited on my friend Tess's birthday. Happy birthday to Tess by me getting a massage. And then I don't really have much of anything forward planned. Moving to the notes section, I have my table of contents, more table of contents, a silent task list, which I've seen this go by a handful of names: silent task list, adulting tasks, task log, all sorts of things. But basically a list of projects that don't have a specific time frame. There's no due date that is impacting other people. They're just things that you want to do and get done, and keep track of them before they flitter out of your head again. So I have some mostly all organization home projects here. But it's just a nice place to get them out of your brain on paper so you can free up your brain space for other things. And then I have that continued. I have 2 pages. I don't know if you can see through, but I do have 2 pages glued together because I messed up on a spread. So I have my seasonal task list here. So these are things like deep cleaning the bathroom, deep cleaning the kitchen, taking the litter boxes outside and like soap and water cleaning them, washing the pet bedding, washing the towels, the rugs, changing the air filter in my trucks, changing the sponge, washing the mattress cover, those sorts of things that you don't do every day or even every week, but it's nice to be like, oh yeah, when was the last time I washed the mattress cover? And you go and look and it's like, oh, I should do that today. So I do actually really like having my seasonal task list. It's a nice just kind of one-stop glance at those tasks that you don't do every day, so I don't have to go back in my weeklies and be like, when did I last clean the mattress cover or change the dish sponge? So it's nice to have it all in one spot. I quite like this spread. Next, I'm gonna knock on wood because I don't want to curse myself now, but I have a vet appointment tracker. For those of you that don't know, my husband and I have 2 dogs and 4 cats. One of our dogs is a senior, so she is going to start needing a lot more care soon. We have 4 cats. One of them is a senior with epilepsy, and then we also have our youngest cat is a special needs cat. And then we have our 2 middle-aged kitties. Knock on wood, are healthier. One of them somewhat has special needs, but not like our youngest boy kitty. So lots of appointments and medications and prescription food refills and things like that to keep track of. So I thought having a vet appointment tracker spread would be helpful. And I have a second page already sectioned off for that as well. Here I have my menstrual tracker. I have a key and symptoms, a note section, and then this is the moon cycle, just to see where my cycle is lining up with the phases of the moon. Next, planner and stationery ideas. I'm overflowing. As you can see, I have so many ideas. I don't know if I'll need this spread at all, but it's here if I want it. Next, I have my Couch to 5K plan. I used to run quite a bit. I used to run like 5 to 8 miles 6 days a week. And I have not been doing that for a number of years, but I'm trying to get back into it. New Year's Eve kind of threw a wrench in my plans because I broke a couple of my toes. So I still, here in mid-April, I still feel it every single day. It doesn't hurt anymore, but when I bend my toes a certain way or whatnot, I can still feel that I was injured, if that makes sense. It's not painful, but my body still reminds me. So first thing before I start running is I need to purchase new running shoes. Mine are probably 10 years old and they are literally falling apart. And I also saw a physical therapist last year who told me that I need a wider toe box for my running shoes, and that's why I was having some toe pain and foot pain, unrelated to me breaking my toes. This was last year. So I do need to buy some new running shoes. Thankfully, we have a local running shop here in town that specifically will take time out and assess your foot, help you find the best kind of shoe for you. So as soon as I can take care of a couple financial matters, I do plan on going and buying a new pair of running shoes. Unfortunately, me getting back to running does hinge on my financial ability to buy shoes, and money has been a little tight recently, and is going to be tight for the next little while. So I will start making notes on my Couch to 5K plan as soon as my toe is 100%, which it's like 99%. I probably could test it, but really the contingency is me buying new running shoes. So to be continued. And then I have a wish list here of things that I want to buy. I am doing a low buy year this year, and I am doing really well, actually. And I have not felt too incredibly tempted to make like unnecessary purchases. Oh, don't look at this. But I have a wish list here where it's like, oh, I want to buy this thing. I just come write it down, and chances are I'll either buy it when I have the money to, or I'll forget about it and then come back and realize it's not that important after all. Here, I'm just keeping a brief list of the books I've read in 2024. And I don't think I'll need this page, but I've saved it for this too. In hindsight, I would have put my book list here and my wish list and gift ideas on this page since they're more financially related, because my next page, several pages go into my low buy year. So I have a few words of encouragement for myself, my why of why I'm doing this. I want to save money, be closer to becoming debt-free at the end of this year. I'll feel much lighter when I have more financial freedom. I won't feel this constant kind of gut reaction of like stress or anxiety when it comes to talking about money. And then triggers, sales, coupons, new releases, FOMO, especially watching YouTube, and then feeling bored, unhappy, static with what I already own, where it's like you walk into your closet and it's like, oh, I have nothing to wear, when in reality you have like several options. I'm talking to myself, not you, but I know that a lot of folks feel this way as well. And then I have things to do instead of shopping, where if I feel the urge to spend money or, check the new releases on this website, I can write. I can do some chores. How enticing, Sarah. Do some chores. And then here's a little flow chart. Again, I saw this from someone on YouTube. I want to say it was Grace Nevitt, but I'm not certain. Don't hold me to that. But a little flow chart to help me figure out if I should spend money on something, which I feel like in my gut, I know if I should spend money. I don't think I really need this flow chart because inherently I know, but it's just a nice visual reminder. And then we move into the monthlies. So January, I have my red light, yellow light, and green light purchases. My green light purchases are bills, obviously. I can spend money on that. I can spend money on any medical related things. If I need to go to the doctor, if my husband needs to go to the doctor, obviously those sorts of things to take care of ourselves, our house, our pets, vet bills, pet food, litter, those are all green light purchases. Yellow light purchases in my mind are things that I am, and I'll use this word loosely, allowed to, because I am an adult and I can do what I want, obviously. But yellow light purchases are things that I am allowing myself to do, but I just need to be a little cautious. So those things would include like going out to dinner, doing takeout, going to see a movie. Not that I ever go to the movie theater, but those sorts of things. Going to a coffee shop, going to a bar, those sorts of things I will allow myself to do, but in moderation, essentially. And then things like replacing a piece of clothing, like and I can't repair it, I will allow myself to purchase something to replace something. So if my favorite jeans rip and there's just no way I can fix them, I will allow myself to buy a new pair of jeans to replace that pair that ripped. Or if I lose a little bit of weight, I'm trying to feel healthier. I've gained some weight since COVID and I don't feel great. I feel sluggish, I feel lethargic, I feel bloated, I don't feel strong like I used to. So I'm hoping to work on my fitness this year and kind of regain some of that strength and lose a little bit of weight. Not for vanity reasons, although it's hard not to have your own body dysmorphia tied up in that. But I am hoping to lose some weight for health reasons. I'm not getting any younger, and I want to do the best I can to stay healthy while I'm as young as I'll ever be. So if I lose some weight, I will allow myself to replace clothing that no longer fits. Same thing on the other end, if I gain weight, I will allow myself to buy clothing that fits and feels comfortable. So I have some reflections here on wins or challenges for the month. Again, here I kept track of how many times I ordered takeout or ate out this month, because I realized I was doing pretty well not buying red light purchases like shoes. I don't really buy shoes anyway. I don't know why that came to mind, but clothing, jewelry, fun things that I don't need, impulsive things. So while I was doing really well with that in January, I noticed myself spending more on food because I could justify it. It's food. But I was like, even though it's a yellow light thing, something I'm allowing myself to do in moderation, I'm kind of running wild with it. And I don't even think that 9 times is totally accurate. It might have been more like 10 or 11. So in order to kind of curb how much food I was eating out, I started to keep track of it. And then here, I've just kept track of my yellow light purchases, more reflections. And this month, so far, I think I have maybe 2. Sorry, excuse the dogs. Someone's going for a walk, and that's simply not allowed. But so far, I think I have 1 more item to add here. I purchased probably 2 more. I did purchase snacks for work 2 days this last week, so I need to add those. But so far this month, I'm doing all right. So this is the rest of the year for my financial yellow light purchases, whatnot. And then I left a spread here for the end of the year review. And then my husband and I took a weekend trip out to Grayland, Washington, which is on the coast with our friends. We had an Airbnb. They were there for longer. We only went for 1 night because dogs and cats. But here was just our packing list. We sent the dogs to the daycare they go to also offers boarding. So we sent them for a sleepover at school. So this was just the packing list. And that is it. So overall, I would say I am keeping up pretty dang well with all of my notebooks. The exception being this one. And I am keeping up with it, but it's not the most necessary. So this is my planner stack, planner/notebook stack. If you've been keeping up in your planners, let me know. If you have not been keeping up in your planners, let me know. We can encourage each other to do what feels right. Let me know what planners you're using and how you're liking them. And if you have any questions about my systems or specific planners, leave a comment. And other than that, I will see you later. Take care and have a great day. Bye.